Oh, hello there, you sweetie little angel. I'm back with another video. I want this microphone to be comfortable so I don't need to keep moving around, you know? I showed you that fragrance thing that I used for my burner thing, and oh my gosh, that this room just smells so good. I'm obsessed with it. I just want a perfume that smells like that, but I've been trying to order like these perfumes and it's just not been working out. They just arrive and they smell absolutely disgusting, but that thing that I just showed you in the intro, oh my gosh, buy it for your house. You're not going to regret it. It smells bloody amazing. And now I think all my clothes smell of it because I just burn it all day and it just smells lovely. So yeah, that's my intro for today. We are going to talk about, is sex a cheap thrill? Is that how you see it? And can we talk about that, please? Because I think that there's a little bit where that's actually true. Also, in some cases for me, it might be true as well. So I just want to have a discussion about it. Let's have a discussion about it. But first, let's go into the story time. So I'm no longer reading this book. I finished this book a while back. I'm actually on the Crescent series. If you told me about 2 years ago that I was going to be an absolute bookworm, I would have been like, yeah, right, I've got better things to do. And here I am, like just like reading these massive, thick books. And I'm supposed to be doing other things in my life. And I'm just like laying on my bed, just like deep into these stories. And it's so annoying that sometimes like I remember that I'm reading and then my eyes start like taking in the words, and then I start like not taking in the words, and it's like no, I want to be lost in a book, because obviously when I'm reading, like I don't even realize that I'm taking in words because I've got all these pictures in my head. No, darling, I've got music to write, I've got shows to do, and all of that has taken a second place in my life. Now stories have taken over my life. The point I'm making here is that there's a guy called Sam Kiel in this book, and I said to my son, even though I know this is a bit inappropriate, I said to my son, listen, when you're ready to, well, he's coming downstairs right now, what does he want? Hello darling, you came to return my one cookie. Oh really? Oh, that's cute. Is it friends that need your help or friends that you can get help from them?
We can help each other.
Okay. He's like, he knew I was going to talk about him, and he was like, don't put my business out on the internet, please. Anyways, I said to him, when he's ready, I want him to read this chapter because like I want him to understand like perfection. From a female perspective of perfection in a bedroom, you would find it in this book. He's a god and he falls in love with like a devil type of woman. And anyways, and then the story is about the two of them. The chapter, I think, starts in 71, or is it 72? This book is called The Throne of Broken Gods, and it's from the series Gods and Monsters. And 71, chapter 71 and onwards, you're gonna get all of the juice of when they first have sex together. I was actually just like sitting there and my heart was doing all these things, and I was like, oh my god, like this is actually perfection. Like anybody who's ever confused as to what you should do in the bedroom and how you should behave and the things that you should think and how you should feel, like just read that chapter and you just get it. Anyway, from my perspective, that's what it is. Right, I think I've told you enough of this story time. Let's get on with this subject, shall we? And when the love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. Actually, the series that I'm on right now, he's an angel. I think that these writers, they really play on like these little moments that you have in your memories where you really fancied a guy and he didn't do the right thing and you was like really disappointed, and then the writer just goes in there and fixes all those things that he didn't do right, and then he made it right in the story. So then it gets you really like, oh my god, because like you have so many memories of all of these times where things didn't go right. Like you wanted him to play with your clitoris and he didn't, and you wanted him to stay on your clitoris and he didn't, and you wanted him to like do this and he didn't, and then she goes in there, you know, you fancy this guy in the same way, like the guy in the book, and then he does all of the things that you wanted the real guy to do and he didn't. And I think that this is why these books are so important, because it's like you really get firsthand what it is that you should be doing. But the thing that I'm starting to understand, yeah, and this is like really, really sad, and we really need to pack this up and stop doing it. I just feel like the majority of humans, and I'm just going to say mostly males, because not a lot of females are out there in the streets, even though somewhere they are. People just want to scratch the itch. They just want to have the thing. They just want to come. They want to just have the sex. So then they don't care. All they care about is that they want to put their penis inside of a vagina and ejaculate. That's all that they want. And I think that these books, that the man is so tentative towards her because of how much he likes her, is vice versa. Like, because these women in the books, they're not just like the receivers like I used to be when I was younger, like, oh yeah, please me and do everything to me, but I'm not doing nothing to you. Like, no, they are just as hungry and just as desiring to please the guy as well. So these books are like made in perfection in that sense. Unfortunately, that's not happening in the world, because what the men are doing is that all they want is to just itch the scratch. And I've been there, like I've spoken about my childhood and how I just wanted the cheap thrill, and I just wanted to feel that thing in my clitoris. And then as soon as I get it, like, okay, I've got it now, see you later. Because that's all that I was after, the cheap thrill. And it was a cheap thing. Why do we call that cheap? We call it cheap because it's such a short lived experience. Like, but this is why I've gone on and on about like how to tease a woman, because I'm so used to like knowing exactly what it is to get me there quickly, because that's what I want. I want to get there quickly. And I think that's what a cheap thrill is. That's something that is very short lived, and it's only for this particular thing. And as soon as I have it, that's it. That's I'm done. And it's a cheap is a short lived thing that doesn't have any substance apart from the particular goal, which is to get that particular pleasure in this particular way. So even if I want like this guy to go down on me, like I just want that. Like, I just want that. I want him to be on his knees and this is turning me on. And then like he gets his tongue out and then I put my pelvis into his face and then I get the thing quickly, because I know that this is extremely turning me on. This is going to happen really quickly and I'm going to get my pleasure really quickly and then it's done. Boom. And I know that would turn some people on because they like the idea of like somebody, I don't know, especially a woman in that position, taking advantage of a man in that way. That would just turn them on. It's like, yeah, you could take advantage of me any day because they like the idea of it. But it is a cheap thrill because it's something that's just for that thing and it's a short-lived experience. And these books, they're not short-lived whatsoever, especially like when they're a long burn. I don't know what they call them, when something like lasts for a long time and they keep building up and it never really gets there, and then suddenly it gets there and it's like, oh my gosh, finally they're having sex, and so then it isn't a short-lived experience. And then especially in the Samkyo, the whole experience was such a long thing, like a long experience of all of the steps that they took, and I'm so glad that I have learned how to have the clitoral orgasm and then have it again, because for the longest years on end, I could only have one experience of a clitoral orgasm, and then it will be finished, and then that's it, I'm done, because it's too sensitive. Oh, don't touch it, and then like the whole thrill just goes away, and I don't want to carry on because I've had what I wanted. But now I've learned to get past that, like just go a little bit slower and just like stay there, but get a little bit slower, and then the feeling starts to come back. Obviously, you can't just go like that and carry on after the clitoral has orgasmed. You can't like carry on with the same pace because it's too sensitive. But if you slow down and proper slow down, you could start to build up the feeling again. And I didn't realize that I could do that. And I've now that I'm like 37, I've definitely learned that I could do that, and I've started to do that. Anyways, the point is that this is what's happening in the world, is that a lot of people are just after the ejaculation, that high point, and they want to get it quickly, and they know what it takes to like turn them on so much that they could just come. Because if you're not in that place of like peak, you can't come, like, and so then you got to have all these things right in place for me to be at my peak straight away and then come and ejaculate straight away. And this is a cheap thrill because a beautiful exchange is not quick. Okay, let me not say that because it's not true. Because like sometimes I cook a meal and it takes me 20 minutes to cook a meal, and all because it's a short amount of time that I've taken to cook the meal doesn't mean that the meal is still not like really, really tasty, because all of my meals are tasty and my son loves all of my meals and they're really, really tasty. And actually I'm really famous for being a really tasty food maker in my family. Like, oh, Nayna can cook because she cooks really good, tasty food. So no, so it's not true that a short thing necessarily equals to like not good substance, but that is what's happening though, because we don't care because I do care when I'm making this 20-minute meal. I do care. I want it to taste good, and I'm putting all my effort into it tasting good. All because it's 20 minutes doesn't mean that it's not going to taste good. But I don't think that that's how we're seeing it, especially when we're just like, and so sad, but it's true that's why a lot of men, they go around having sex with people that they're not really attracted to, because all they want from them is to itch the scratch of ejaculation. That's that's all that they want. So then when the woman's like, oh, he's not chasing me, oh, he's not calling me back because he wasn't attracted to you, he just wanted to itch the scratch, and he got what he wanted. And unfortunately, a lot of women don't know how to read the signs because we're babies, we're human babies, and we don't know. And of course we're babies anyway, because look, we're disrespecting people this way. Because I'm not going to sit there, maybe when I was younger I would, but I'm not going to sit there and kind of go, right, all I want from you is for you to go down on me, and then you could. I'm not going to do that, because that's a horrible thing to do to him. I would have before, and I have done that before, but not at this age. I don't want to be disrespectful like that. So I think it is an immature thing to not care about the human in this way, where you're just like using them for what you want, and you don't care about what they are, what it means to them. You just want what you want. And I think that is an immaturity. And then also the woman for not being able to even spot that that's what she is to the man. And sadly, I don't think that these women even had the experience of what it feels like to be loved by a man. So then they don't know the difference. Like, because I've had people go to the ends of the world to please me and tell me how much they love me and treat me good. And I have had that experience. So then when a guy comes to me and he's not treating me that way, I understand, oh, well, you're not in love with me, darling. And then he tries to be all like cool and like, oh, no, that's not it. No, that is it. And I could see the difference because I've had the difference. Like, I know what it is for a guy to go beyond, and, you know, and you could see it in their eyes when they're completely smitten with you. Like, I've had all of those experiences. So I know what it looks like when somebody is smitten with me and they have every intention to be in love with me, because they are already in love with me. They just haven't admitted it to themselves or to me, but I can recognize when somebody's fallen in love, and because I've had it before. So then these women who don't know what that looks like, they think that it's like, oh yeah, he's just playing hard to get. No, he's not playing hard to get, because when you fall in love with somebody, you don't play hard to get. And if you do, they come chase you. It's like a oxymoron. Like, you're playing hard to get. And men get this all the time with women, where she's trying to play hard to get, yet she's messaging you nonstop, like with hate messages. Why? Because she's obsessed with you. And men recognize this. We recognize it. You're playing hard to get, but you're obsessed with me. And it's kind of clear that you're obsessed with me, because you're not leaving me alone. Even though you're trying to play hard to get, you're not leaving me alone. So it's an oxymoron. It's quite clear. So I don't think that we're intelligent enough in this world. We're not teaching about it enough of what it looks like for somebody to be in love with you. And when they're in love with you, it's not going to be a cheap thrill. 100% is not going to be a cheap thrill. And unfortunately, this is what's going on with sexual exchange. A lot of the time, it's just a cheap thrill for a quick ejaculation of this idea that I have in my head. I want it to be fulfilled, so that I'm going to do it. Let me pause there for a second, because like, I tried to get everything out like really, really quickly, and I just need to calm down and relax for a second. So let me just relax here. Here's the thing though. I don't think we're doing a very good job at producing any other outcome, because there's loads. So I could sit here and go to like all these men like, stop doing that, it's not very nice, you're just using girls for sex just so you can get your cheap thrill. Same with the girl. Not do you know what? And the girl's not even in the same position. And if she is, it's a small amount of percentage of women who are doing this, right? Very small amount of percent of women who are using men for sexual pleasure. And that's it. Very small percent. There's a bigger percent who they don't know how to ejaculate in sex, or how to have an orgasm in sex. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to dominate a man in that way. Because why? Because they're prioritizing something else from the man, like money or class or whatever the man can give to her, even if it's just like clout. I don't know if I hate that word clout, but I think that that's the correct word to use. Put your status up, then you're using him for something, but you don't know how to dominate him in this sexual way. So, and men, because they know how to ejaculate, they are dominating women in this way of like, no, this is what I want from you. I'm going to get it and then see you later. So I could sit here and I could tell you like, stop doing that, because it's not nice. Like, sex should only be prolonged experience that is not a cheap thrill, and that is meaningful and stuff, right? But I've started to also see that like, we don't have much to like look forward to, because like women, like I've seen that they just act like kids sometimes. And obviously men as well. Like, do you know what? Humans, they act like weird people, and they do weird things, and they say weird things, and they just like so unkind. And then so then of course, like if you keep seeing like that women are like so unkind sometimes, and they say the most like horrendous things, and they're like just really so unkind, like of course then you're going to start to give them less value. And then the only value that you do give them is the vagina, where you can have your cheap thrill. So of course you're going to be doing that. So it's not just about saying stop doing this thing. Like, we need to like educate the whole world to just start behaving differently. So women, we need to stop behaving like, I don't know what to call that. like women, I don't know, bitchy, unkind. But I think it's because of miscommunication, because of the way that the world works, so of capitalism, and because life is already hard, and you're already being put through school, you're already being told that you're not clever, or that one's clever, and you've got to do this and that, and so then you've already been put through the system of like, oh, you're not good enough. Then there's loads of competition in school, so then you fancy the guy, but then you see him watching the other girl, so then you start to learn about competition and that you have to like stick out, and then it is just a mess. Like, this world is a mess. So I think that we need to start upgrading our characteristics so then we are more appetizing and more worth it. Because I'm not going to sit here and be in love with a guy who is like the hip hop guys or the sports guys, like how they talk and how they just like, I don't know, don't have a lot of substance, and they don't want to have conversations about certain things, and they're just a bit like too cool for you, and they just push people away. Like, that's not attractive to me. So I'm not going to sit there and start falling in love with a guy like that. So then his character and those types of men, for them to get my attention, they just need to completely upgrade their character. So then I understand that we all in needs to upgrade the characters in the world to make us to be more attractive, and to be able to attract the woman that you want or the man that you want, because with that character you're not gonna be attracting nobody. Anyways, what I'm saying is that I guess it's a bigger problem than just trying to tell people to stop doing it. We need to be upgrading our characters out here, so then we do want to spend more time. Because I think that's the other thing here, is like, men want to spend time with their mates. Because why? Because women are only good for a particular window, a particular emotion. I'm more about conversation, and I'm more about all these different pockets. So if you come into my life, you're gonna want to spend every moment of you, and then you're gonna end up choosing me over your friends because of the substance that I give to your brain and to your life. You're gonna prefer that over being with your friends. So if these guys are preferring to be with their friends over you, that means that the substance that you're giving them is not what they like, and it doesn't make them feel good. Because if it did, he'll be absolutely choosing you, but he doesn't, and the only thing that he wants from you is sexual pleasure, or a cuddle, or cooking, or mothering, and that's the only windows that you can fit into his life. And this fun, relaxed mode that he has with his friends, you can't provide that. Why? Because your character doesn't give that. Your brain is not given that, because you're not built to be that way, because of the way the world is, and the way you've been taught, and the way you're not being educated about your femininity and what that means, and how to have a balance in you as a character. Anyway, so because of this disconnect, we seek cheap thrills, and then sexuality becomes a cheap thrill, where it's like, oh yeah, let me get this quickly, and let me make this right, so then I could get this quickly, and then, oh yeah, I got it quickly, thanks, see you later, goodbye. And it means nothing in your heart. It's just this build up of this this feeling, and then it goes, and it's like having a hot bath, and then the bath only lasts for 5 minutes, and then it's over, and it's like, oh, the night's over, and then it's gone. Instead of like it living near the ocean, where the ocean's always there, and you can go in and out of the ocean as many times as you want, and it's always there, and it's a whole experience, it's a whole lifestyle, rather than the just short hot bath that you have, and it's just like this short-lived thing. Is an actual way of life, and a continuous experience. For it to not be a cheap thrill, right? You know what, let's conclude this video, and I'm gonna conclude this in the conclusion part of this video. So for it to not be a cheap thrill, right, you have to be smitten with somebody. And when you're smitten with somebody, you're not picking your friends over them. Because you want to spend every single moment with them. And when you're smitten with somebody, you admire them, like the way that they do things, the choices that they make. You just want to stare at them the whole day, and you just want to like be with them, and you want to be inside of them, and you want them to be there. And then that's why you end up bringing them around your friends, and they become a part of your like limbs and your body, because you're smitten with them, and you're smitten with them because you admire them. So if you admire them, that means that they're showing characteristics and behaviors, and the way that they look, and the attraction of how they look, like they're showing all of the right things that makes you smitten. And then when you're smitten, there's no cheap thrill about it. Why? Because it adds even more love to it, adds even more smittenness. So then if you have an orgasm with somebody that you're smitten with, it becomes this special thing this like, oh my God, it was like the best thing ever. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm so in love. Because why? Because you're smitten with them in the first place. And if you're not smitten with them, then it becomes a cheap thrill. It doesn't mean nothing. It's a quick thing. Now it's over. And it's not over when you're smitten with them, because you want to stay there and you want to have it again and you want to have it again. And so then it's not over. And that's why people could spend the whole day in bed together having sex and doing sexual pleasure the whole day. Why? Because they're smitten. And one time is not enough, and it's not over. I don't want it to be over. Don't go home. Lay here. Let's take a break. Don't go anywhere, and let's do it again, because I'm smitten with you. I'm in love with you. And I think that that's what love is. And so then if you're having cheap thrills, unfortunately, you're not in love. So when people say like, oh yeah, let's have a quickie in the morning, I think that that's the most like cheap thing ever. Unless we're both aware, able to, like I said, the short meal that I can cook, if it's deliberate and we know what we're doing and we know how to make it special and it's not a cheap thing and we could do it quickly, then of course, yes, we can do that. But that's not the idea behind a lot of the time when we say, yeah, let's have a quickie. And listen, I could hear loads of people saying, Nayna, life is not a fairy tale. I've been married for 20 years. Of course, I'm not smitten anymore. Like, what do you think this is? And again, why are you still there? And you're still there because it's easier, right? Because you can't afford to have your own place. You can't afford this, and it's gonna break the kids' hearts. And there's so many reasons as to why you're still stuck in a place where you're not smitten. And I don't think that should be the case. And for me, as a female, if somebody was with me out of necessity or respect, or and not because they're smitten with me, that would be the biggest insult ever. Please don't do that. And obviously I would already know that that's happening, and I would like kick them out a long time ago, and I would have been divorced a long time ago if I felt that a man was with me because of need and necessity, rather than because he's smitten with me and he's completely in love with me and he can't get enough of me. And so then I think that's what the answer is, right? It's a cheap thrill because love is not there. It's a cheap thrill because you're making it quick. And if you're in love with somebody, you don't want to make it quick. You want it to last long. You want it to like do it again. You want it to just be forever. And you want this moment to last forever. So then it's not cheap thrill, and it means something, and it has substance, and it means something. So let's go to the quote of the week, where I'm going to actually tell you a little bit about that scene that I was talking about instead of giving you a quote of the week. So let's do it. So I guess that this is a massive thing, right? It's like when you build up the want for somebody. And I know that, again, with this immaturity thing of like, oh, you built up all this want, and then as soon as you have it, you don't want it anymore. Because I think because it's not what you thought it would be. But I don't think that that's necessarily everybody's outcome. Like, yes, you thought you painted it up to be this big thing, and then it's not. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but there is somebody where you're going to build it up to be this big thing, and it is going to be that big thing, and you are going to continue to want it. So I think I should do a video about that, about like building something up and then being disappointed by it, and then what should you do about that? And like I should actually do a video about that, because I think that should be a whole conversation. Actually, I'm going to try to remember to do that next, because I actually want to talk about that, because I feel like that happens to a lot of people. But let's not concentrate on that one. Let's concentrate on the perfect one, where you build up this whole thing and you want them and you keep like desiring them and you're not getting them, and then finally you get them. And I think that that's what happens in these books. Is like you've been fantasizing and you've been wanting it, and it's not happened, and then suddenly it happens. And that's what happened with Samkyo. Like he was so like into her and he was so in love with her, but then nothing was happening between them, and then all of a sudden they were in a right position, and she offered herself to him. And so then he was like, okay. He laid her down. And I think also like the scent in these books are like such a big deal, like the way that she smells. I think in real life, like we need to sort that out as well, because I don't know about the whole smell thing. I don't know, because I think for humans outside of these books, the smell is more about the skin smell. Like if you smell me, I'm going to smell of my perfumes, or I'm going to smell of my hair, or I'm going to smell of my cream. So then that scent is what you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she smells so good, right? But in these books, they're talking about the actual arousal scent in humans, and not in gods and angels and demons. In humans, I think that the scent is actually doesn't smell like anything, and it's going to be a mixture of either your detergent mixed with nothingness. Because for me, when I become aroused and I get wet, that wetness doesn't really smell of anything. And obviously there's the sex smell, but that again, that's debatable. Like, is that supposed to be there? Is that unhealthy or healthy? Like, I actually don't know. So I think that's debatable. Anyway, so then he smells her and he's like becomes even more aroused because he could smell her. And then like he does this thing. So he's obviously kissing down her body and then he kisses down her thigh. And right, that should just be a thing that everybody does, right? When you're kissing down her body and you kiss around and you don't kiss her vagina and you kiss around and then you start kissing down her legs and then you start kissing up her legs, and again you don't kiss the vagina, you go up like over the vagina and you kiss like where her hair is and then back down. Like if you do all of that teasing, like, oh my gosh, like she's going to, again, not meaning to be a cheap thrill, but she's going to come very quickly because she's so turned on by what you're doing. Anyway, so then he stops and then he he basically just licks one lick all the way from the bottom, one lick. And I was like, oh my God, like, why was that so perfect? Like just one lick and all the way from like the hole at the bottom, past the clitoris and then up to her hair or whatever. Just like one firm lick, not firm, soft firm, because obviously we don't want firm tongues down there like that. And that makes him even more aroused because now he's tasted her and he's tasted her wetness and it's all over his tongue. And that's the other thing about these books, is that they like the wetness, they want the wetness, they want to taste it, and that just makes it even more like, oh my gosh, please, yes, what you should want my taste, you should want my wetness all over your tongue. And then he proceeds to continue to be down there. So not just the one lick, he does another one and then he goes in with his fingers and then he starts kissing and then he starts doing, and then he pays a lot of attention down there until she climaxes. I don't know if he makes a climax like 2 times while he's down there or something, because obviously that's what these books always do. And then he puts himself into her and it's all just like really like, oh my God. And especially when you're like so attracted to a guy and then you finally see his penis. And do you know what? Men have this thing, and I'm sorry if women have it too, yeah, because we shouldn't, but men have this thing where they actually think that their penis is ugly, and I think that penises are beautiful. I love how they look like, and we need to stop thinking that penises are ugly, because they're not. They're actually beautiful. And so then when you finally see his penis and you see the veins on his penis, like, it's so attractive and it's hard and it's got like veins up it, like, it's so attractive. And then she finally sees him and he's like holding himself, and that's so attractive as well. Like when you could just hold yourself and you're hard in your hand and she's looking at you, like, that's so attractive. And so then he's holding himself or something like that, and then he put this dog, she thinks that she owns my bedroom. She's trying to make me open the door for her. Anyways, the point is that one lick that he did just turned my world upside down. You may not have my cookie. And yeah, if you're interested in that chapter, please go ahead and do it. Right, let's close this video. My baby, you want to say hello? Hi. Say hello. This is Sparkle. You may have seen her before. She's my baby. And she's... You're a good girl. You're a good girl until somebody knocks on the door. And then you become a bad girl. And then you just want to go and try to kill people with your little teeth, even though I don't think these teeth will do anything to anybody. But they get scared of you nonetheless. Okay, so I guess the conclusion, well, not the conclusion, the closing of my message is that, well then, she wants to lick the microphone. Why did you just lick the microphone? The point is that I think cheap thrills should only be thrills, not cheap, if it's, you know what you're doing and both of you are in consent of it being a thrill, quick thing. And if it's not, it should just be a prolonged, beautiful experience, because that's what life is about. Well, I don't know what life's about, but I want to make it that, just beautiful things of do you know what? Now I'm just waffling because she's distracting me. Make it beautiful. Go and read these books and learn to make it prolonged. And then let's better our characters out here so we become more and more attractive to the opposite sex or whatever, to the peoples of the world. Let's improve our characters so we're just like perfect out here. And then let's improve like our skills in a bedroom so we're perfect out here. And then we just become like these like really admirable humans who do all of the right things all the time. And we're just like so attractive and so like perfect. And then we taste good and we smell good and everything is just perfect, and then we could just fall in love with each other, and that's it. And nothing is cheap about that. and Jojo, are you tired? Is it because of my talking that you want to fall asleep, baby? Is your mother talking? You're so cute. Okay, we're gonna go now. I hope you've enjoyed this video, my pink background. I will see you later. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.